I think obviously the challenges with inflation, the challenges to some producers and certain industries that are finding difficulty pricing their goods or services, and as such going through a rough time. You know, as time passes, we think that this will stabilize, and then obviously all of that will be offset by consumption. Again, we have always been focusing on Egypt. We do nothing but Egypt. We believe that this is the only real economy in the region. It's with that size, it's quite diversified, and consumption will continue to drive this economy. I think also an important point is the new investment law is focusing on giving incentives to substitute some of the imports which have hit our economy bad, through giving incentives into businesses and industries for people to invest to substitute these imports. So consumption will once more drive the economy, and I think we've already seen signs of that.
So you're feeling optimistic?
Yes.
Good.
Very much.
The last...
by the way, yes. I wasn't optimistic for quite some time.
No, I know.
I was quite vocal about that in a lot of time.
Well, you're always very honest when you come on the Euromoney stage, and we appreciate that. I mean, the last 5 years have been incredibly challenging. Can you just give me an overview of CI Capital's performance, how you've dealt with those challenging years, and how you're looking forward to expand?
Sure.
And now we are a pleasure to have Mr. Angus, the Chief Operating Officer at Faro's company. Hello, Mr. Angus.
Hello to you.
First of all, I want to know your opinion about the conference and how it will positively affect the economic environment or the financial investment in Egypt.
Okay, this conference has been running for over 20 years. It's a good focal point for the year to have a good, solid discussion on the economy and on finance particularly. And it's a very important element now of the financial calendar every year. And it's a very good meeting point for people in finance. So for that perspective, it's a useful, very useful part of what we do in Egypt every year, to meet together and discuss ideas.
So I want to know a brief introduction about Faro's company.
Faro's is an investment bank. We have an investment banking division, asset management, brokerage, research, bookkeeping, and we're opening up in another country. We'll make a formal announcement in a month. And it's very good, it's growing very well, bringing in some really good, great Egyptian talent as well, which is super.
So it's based in Egypt?
Based in Egypt.
I want to know if there is any future plans for financial investments in Egypt.
There are plenty, but it's from all over the world. But the fact is that it's a very competitive world for capital. And Egypt still has to do more to attract even more capital for the future. It's been successful so far in bringing in billions of dollars into government securities, government debt, but it has to do much more than that. So we're looking forward to privatizations, of new listings, of further liberalization, I think, in operating companies. The ease of doing business will have to improve, but all of that it's good, and it's a tremendous change in a year that we've seen in Egypt, really positive change.
We want to know the main challenges that could face any investor who are willing to invest in Egypt.
The challenge is inflation. Inflation is one of the highest levels in the world, and therefore it makes planning much more difficult.
So how to solve that problem?
Oh, that's a long-term issue. The government, I think, really has to look at food production particularly, cutting food wastage, looking at oligopolies and monopolies in the market, looking at the internal market particularly to make efficiencies.
So you think that that type of event could effectively affect the environment?
Well, it's a helpful element in discussing issues, and in that sense it's a very useful element of what we do every year in Egypt.
Thank you so much, Mr. Angus. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks.
Sure. So first, maybe the name can be confusing, because beyond the bank in Morocco, which is the holding company, we also hold majority stakes in a number of financial services companies, all with controlling stake or large major stakes in the market in Morocco. And it ranges from insurance to consumer finance, to leasing, to mortgages, to factoring, to remittances, etc. So this is, I would say, the first character, is that we are a financial services group versus only a bank.